cocaine is in the building.
How are we doing tonight, folks? I'm James Lee. I'm with MSJC TV, and tonight we're here to speak to a local businessman, Dan Sandoval. How you doing tonight, Dan?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. We're with the real estate department, and we were going to get his impressions on the state of the market and a couple of other tidbits. Okay? Perfect. So, Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? And how long have you been here in Menifee?
All right. Well, like you said, my name is Dan Sandoval. I went into the Air Force about 20 years ago. I grew up in Las Vegas, and we found ourselves here in the Menifee Valley about 5 years ago. I've been in as an Air Force recruiter for the last 5 years, and that's what we've been doing the last 20 years.
Okay, perfect. Well, hey, I'd like to be the first to say congratulations to you, and I appreciate your service to the country. 20 years, you said?
20 years.
That's a lifetime. It's a long time. So
well, thank you. I appreciate
definitely
it.
Kudos for that. So what made you want to get into real estate, and how long have you been an agent?
Well, I started the process to be a real estate agent last year, and it took me a few months. I got all the coursework that I needed done, and I got my license in January of 2015, and I've been doing that ever since. I've been in the Air Force, like I said, for 20 years. And over the last 5 years, I've been an Air Force recruiter. And, being an Air Force recruiter is working with people. We're working with the young people of today, all of our young Americans that are looking to do something with their lives. And I've had the opportunity to be in that driver's seat with them to help them, attain their goals. And for me, being an Air Force recruiter, it really transitions well with being a real estate agent. A real estate agent helps people get into their homes, to find homes, to sell homes, and you need to be able to connect with people. And I feel that's one of my strong points, is being able to do that, and that's how I got into real estate.
Okay, perfect, yeah. So let me ask you this. What are your impressions of the market today, and where do you see it heading in the next 5 years?
Well, being a little bit new to the real estate business, I've really dive into the real estate program and see where it's going and kind of see trends here and there. And what I see, especially for the Menifee Valley, is growth. We're on an upward trajectory, and with that growth and with the housing market really heating up, you got interest rates starting to rise, and really it's a good time for people to get into the market before the house prices get too high, before the interest rates get too high. It's transitioned. I can see in the last month, it's really starting to transition from being a buyer's market where you have excess houses and you have the ability to negotiate a little bit more, that buying power with sellers. And now I've seen it really transition, or in that transition phase, to being a seller's market where you may not have as much power as a buyer to go in and request a lot of things. And you're seeing that there's not going to be as many houses available. You're starting to get multiple offers on houses. The cash buyers, the investors are starting to come into the area. But Menifee has a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of land. There's a lot of growth potential here. It was announced this last year that the town center is going to be built in Menifee. That town center is bringing in a lot of jobs. It's bringing in movie theaters and bowling alleys and restaurants and different things like that. And with those different businesses become jobs, and with those jobs, people are going to need places to live. And it's a perfect community. It's a very family-friendly community, and I think Menifee is going to do really good over the next 5 years.
Right, I agree with you wholeheartedly. As far as being so new to the business, have you given any thought to how you plan to sustain yourself during some of the ups and downs that real estate can or has traditionally shown that it will do?
Well, I have actually. That's something that me and my family have sat down and talked about, whether this is the right path for our family. With my background being in the military and being an Air Force recruiter, I understand what it takes to be in the sales world of real estate. But I would be mistaken if I didn't recognize that there are ups and downs to the market, and you do have to prepare for those. Unlike a lot of other agents, that get into this, that Southern California, actually the state of California, there are a lot of real estate agents in this state, but there aren't a lot of active real estate agents in this state because they can't afford to, or they jump out at that time when things start to go down. And for me, having my military background and being able to retire from the Air Force and have that pension, I can rely on that a little bit better. Real estate is something that I really want to do. I'm really focused at doing it. I have the motivation. I have the smarts to be able to do it. I want to be successful at it. But if things start to go a little bit south, I do have that to fall back on, my military retirement and that military service, those benefits that I gained over the last 20 years.
Awesome. Okay, and in closing, if you would, could you give some advice to the people who are just now coming into the business or thinking about coming into the business, as far as, or in terms of passing the test? I understand you passed your real estate test on the first time. That's not an easy thing to do. How did you do it? And is there any wisdom that you can pass along?
I like to think I have a little bit of wisdom when it comes to things, but as far as the real estate exam, it's definitely nothing to take lightly. It was a difficult test. I'm not going to lie. It was tough. But all of my time in the last 20 years of growing up and taking many, many tests throughout my time, I knew that this was something that if I really wanted it, that I needed to put the work and the effort into it. And so when I started this process last year and I went through the courses that I needed to, you got to pay attention to those. You can breeze through them, but you do need to pay attention because that material is going to be on that test. Once I knew that I was getting ready to take that test, I applied for my license. That's when I really started hitting it hard, and I started crunching everything that I learned. I started just really cramming it into my mind for maybe a good 2 weeks. I took a crash course with a local real estate company, spent a day, picking their brains a little bit, and then I listened to a lot of videos, and I listened to a lot of audio CDs about things that I knew that were going to be on that test. And I went in, I took the test. It was a very long test, and it was difficult. There were times throughout the test you're like, all right, let me just guess on this one, and I'll just go to the next one. Absolutely don't do that. Read every question, read all the answers, and it will. If you read that and you studied, it'll come back to you, and you'll be able to pass that exam. And when I walked out that door and I seen that I had passed the exam and I seen that congratulations, I was pretty excited. I was pretty pumped about it.
So what it sounds like to me is there's no magic formula. It's just roll your sleeves up, get to work, focus, work hard. If you really want it, that's probably the best way to go ahead and get it.
Absolutely. You just have to put the time in. Got to put the time in. Work harder than the next guy.
Outstanding. Well, Dan, we appreciate you taking some time out to speak with us this evening. Once again, I'd like to also thank you for your service, and we wish you the best of luck here in Menifee.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.